Welcome to 130 West 30th Street, apartment 11C. You have a part-time doorman, really nice, clean Art Deco style lobby. The building is called the Cass Gilbert because it was designed by Cass Gilbert, who also did the Woolworth Tower. So it has a nice architectural pedigree, marble walls, really spacious elevator. And the reason that the elevator is actually important is because you can fit luggage in here, multiple people, strollers, dogs, and you have 2 elevators for only a 35 unit building. So it gives you a lot of extra space for the way that you're actually going to live here. Then the elevator opens up and we have 3 units for this floor. The hallway is nice and wide. That's nice because, again, we get rid of these. You'll notice in this apartment, we get rid of bottlenecks where 2 people have to say, excuse me, for bringing anything. And that comes with bringing Whole Foods bags or luggage, anything. Stepping into the apartment, this is where it becomes really special. So this is one of the best layouts for a 2,000 square foot apartment that you can get. You actually have this very large foyer with very large closets. And the foyer is wide and it's just the right amount of space so that it doesn't actually waste any space. With the doors open, you can walk past here. This still gives you over 4 feet of clearance. So you could put a bench on this side or a bench there. I'm a big fan of taking New York off before you enter your home. So that really helps mask some things. The other distinction is that when this door is open, if you live with multiple people, when the door is open, you can open this door at the same time without bumping into each other or having to say, excuse me. So you get rid of these tight sections where you realize that you're on top of each other and then feel like you need a lot more space. Now in the living room, you have an open living room and kitchen concept. You have 2 different spaces for the living room, and you can see that we have 11-foot ceilings and massive windows. So the windows give it a really good balance and symmetry, yet also give you a really good art wall. And this is the living room section. You can see that you do have sockets in the floor so that you can add lighting under a rug on both sides of your couch. This width from here to here is nearly it's 18 feet. So with that, you can fit a 10-foot sofa, 2 side tables, and be able to walk past the table on that, or the sofa on that side and on this side. Still have a coffee table over there, and maybe they had a piano here previously. That is important so that when you have 2, 3, 12 people and a puppy all running around, you don't have to say, excuse me, and you can still move around each other. It creates a really nice balance. We are west facing over the police building, so it keeps the street protected, very clean, and also gives you a really nice visual distance between us and the other buildings, which is wider than a typical New York City street, which is 30 or 90 feet when you include sidewalks and street parking. So you do have a good sky when you're sitting on the couch. Here is in the exposure. You don't really have any lights in this apartment. And if you bring in plants, so if you put a plant here to go to the ceiling, if you put a plant here to go to the ceiling, it'll draw your eye up and also really beautify the space a lot. Same thing with adding more lighting to the ceiling. You have these supporting columns or beams. So if you did something to bring out more light onto that part of the ceiling, it would then rain down into the apartment, just like the sun would, and make the whole place illuminated. You do have a full bathroom. This would be the 3rd bath. I think you could do this as either a powder room or make it a little bit more separated. You also have a really nice width in here so that when you're inside here, you can still put your elbows up to your head or your hands on your head and not actually hit anything. You have solid wood vanities. So if you ever wanted to, you can easily change the color. You have forced heat and air conditioning for the P-TECH unit. This originally was one, but to gain more space and to put a piano here, they just didn't need it and capped it off. Here's the third bedroom. This will accommodate a king size bed. You could add a full wall here if you wanted to. You could also do soundproof curtains. It does bring light into the foyer, so you can see that space. You could easily just put a closet here and give you anything that you needed. To show you another distinction, we are south facing. It is an 11-story, we're on the 11th floor. This is a 12-story office building. So you do get a good amount of sky and a good amount of light. The doors are very solid. They also offer really nice soundproofing. You could add in more if you wanted to, but you don't have to. The kitchen is also really smartly laid out for an open kitchen. You can see that the counter is recessed a bit so that when you have counter stools here, it doesn't protrude into the living room, and you have a nice width here that you can still walk around them. You also have a nice overhang so that you can sit underneath the counter and island, whereas a lot of the times you don't get this much of an overhang, so you hit your knees and it's really awkward. This section also has a good width so that if somebody is in the pantry, you can still walk past it without bumping into somebody. If somebody's in the refrigerator, you can also still walk past them. And right here, you have enough width for two people to be able to cross without saying, excuse me. What I also like about this is that the range is here, dishwasher and sink, so that you can clean and put away. Somebody else can still get to the range and walk past each other to get to the refrigerator. So it becomes this really functional space. Same thing, if you are cooking and somebody else wants to come to the refrigerator to grab a drink, they can without bumping into anybody else. So it's a very nice utility space for that. One of my other favorite things, it gets rid of my pet peeve where you put the range and a sink directly opposite each other. That means if two people are using the space, you are going to be butt to butt, and you're gonna bump into each other. You're gonna be on top of each other all the time. So we get rid of that, but it also makes this counter island a full entertaining space and buffet. The cabinets and drawers are solid wood. So you can see that finish. They are soft close. So if you wanted to refinish them or put new handles on, you wanted to paint them, you could do all of that very easily. And that would give it a more modern feel, although this color is in. People do really like it. You would just want to make this floor, which is also oak, more of a natural wood finish. Probably make it a little bit lighter. You could even bleach the floors, and that would open it up a lot. Looking down this way to the primary and the second bedroom, this hallway here has a good width, being that it's a high traffic area so that people can walk in both ways without bumping into each other. That's over 6 feet wide. Then coming here, you also have a 4-foot wide hallway, so high traffic areas, no real congestion. I also really like where the second bedroom door is set back from the hallway. Anybody that had siblings knows that when you hear your sibling coming, you are throwing the door open if you are upset at them that day, and just, see if you can win. So now, when you can get rid of that extra fight or flight thought in that the doorway is set back, you're never gonna get hit by swinging doors, and we get rid of that bottleneck. Same thing with the laundry, which are full machines, and they are vented out. So getting rid of the tight section here, in that if somebody is still in the laundry, you can still walk past each other in this space. So now we'll pop into the second bedroom. You can see the light coming in. This gives you plenty of room for a king size bed or a queen size bed if you wanted to. And you also have nice closet space. Wood floors go through. The doors are solid wood and 4 hinges. You can also see that they go to the top of the closet. The win there is that you can actually access the top of the closet, and they're also deep. So you have room to be able to move in them and actually use all of it without feeling tight and cramped. The regular doorways are also very tall. Again, these are 11-foot ceilings. So when you have very tall doorways, it makes the energy of the entire space just get carried through and open up. Now we'll go into the primary bedroom. Here you have room for a king-size bed over there. You could also put your desk over there or a Peloton and then move it down further because you also have an outlet here. I would just balance this a little bit better with probably a bookshelf. And then this room is huge. This is a normal, if you had a 1,000 or 1,100 square foot 2-bedroom, this would be what your typical living room size is. You have this very large 3-bar height closet. You could keep this as your closet. You have room to do all of the hanging and also step back and look at it all and figure out what you wanted to do. So you could leave this as a closet, or you could make this as a podcasting studio. There's a lot of actors in the building, so you could soundproof it and make it a recording studio in any way. I know that that's the same as a podcasting studio, or office space. And then you could actually build another closet here, which is probably what I would do, is if you put a wall there, you could build a full set of hanging here, or build a long closet that way on this wall. Again, even in this section, it gives you enough room to have somebody walking out of the bathroom, somebody else walking into the bedroom, and you have space so that you don't have to say, "Excuse me." And here is the primary bathroom. The toilet is on the opposite end of the bathroom from the door. I don't know why people put toilets right by the door. It doesn't make any sense, even in really expensive apartments. The shower head is high so that if you are 6.5 feet tall, you will not have a problem. You do have storage, and it has a really good width in the base of it so that 2 people can actually fit in this shower just fine. And then you have a massive deep soaking tub. Double vanity. And this also is still solid wood. So you can refinish it, you could color it, you could change the whole feeling of it. And then you have 2 medicine cabinets. I'll show you what that looks like. So that could also be jazzed up. If you wanted to make this a little bit more modern, you could eventually close this off and make it a toilet closet. Then the shower would also still be separate. Or if you wanted to do a bigger renovation, get rid of the tub and extend the shower a bit and bring the shower to here so that and then maybe move the tub into the back so that you actually have a separate toilet closet. That would give you that extra level of luxury. And thank you very much for coming by, watching the tour. Again, this is the exit so that as you see, you can move around. And here you just have space.